Alright, YouTubers, we got our 2004 Nissan Pathfinder Armada, and we just did our passenger side brake work on here. We need to replace these struts. This one looks old, but looks like it's intact. The other side is actually broke, so I'm replacing both sides. We're going to need to remove the bolt on the bottom. There's a nut. The bolt's on this side, the nut is on that side, and there's usually 3 at the top. So we remove those, this whole thing will come out, this arm will drop. So we need to put a jack underneath of this arm so that it doesn't drop too far. Let's move this over here. Alright, so let's get started. This bolt may be very difficult to remove. Yeah, I got the vehicle jack here I'm going to use for this. Don't know where my other jack is. It's probably underneath the other car that still needs to be worked on. So I'm going to shove this underneath here. Alright. That guy's not going anywhere. So this is going to require a 19mm socket. Baby blaster. Now this bolt should be replaced. We don't want to reuse it. So we're going to go out and get 2 of them after we pull this off. I'm going to use a breaker bar. Okay, we just got that one out. Now we're working on these 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I still have one nut partially on. The other 2 have the nuts removed. I'm going to go ahead and lower this arm a little bit. Alright, we need to get this connecting rod for the stabilizer bar down because there's still compression on that spring, so this will allow this to drop and give us access to the strut. Let's just check 17 to make sure. Oh, it is 17. Alright, so 17mm socket for stabilizer. Alright, I'm using 3/4 inch because I don't have an 18. So we got to jack it up a bit to get this out, and then we lower. Okay, so now this bolt comes right out because there's no tension on it anymore. And if we look at it, it's labeled a number 9 hardness. So you won't get that at a you won't get this at a Menards. So you may need to order them if you need them. Okay, we got to remove the stabilizer bar on both sides. So that means I got to take the other tire off. Okay, we have to do the same procedure on this side. The stabilizer bar needs to be removed to get that strut out. Okay, so I have these wheel chocks, and I'm going to put them on the back wheels for extra safety. Because we don't want the vehicle to roll while we lift up the whole front. Okay, now the sway bar is down. We can get this out. And as we can see, this one's broke too. It's got a crack right in there. So both of them were broke. I'm going to put the new one in. Okay, here's our new one. We're going to remove the nuts off the top. And then we're going to reseat it. Seat the new one into position. Okay, we just want to put it on just until it makes contact. Okay, slightly snug because we're going to need to line up the bottom. We got the 3 bolts on and the one on the back. You don't want to mess with this one. This is the spring tension. So now we have to line this back up by jacking up underneath the arm here. Okay, this one's going to get some torque on it. And it's about a 120. There we go. Okay, so we're all set. We're going to tighten up the top now. We'll tighten those down, and then we have to do the other side before we put the sway bar back on. And I bought new connectors, so we'll pull these off and put the new ones on. Okay, so for this side, this bolt is a lot more difficult to get out for the strut. As well as the top ones, they're pretty rusted and seized up, so I went ahead and I sprayed them. I'm letting them soak. In the meantime, I'm removing these sway bar rods, connecting rods, because these need to be replaced since this side's stripped out. So I already took the other side off. Now I'm starting on this side. So basically there is a nut, a locking nut on the inside here that we need to secure so it doesn't spin in place. And then I have my socket on this side and slowly working it out. Oh, not quite yet. There we go. Alright, so we'll go ahead and install the new one. These are from Napa. Picked them up this morning. They're about 16 bucks a piece for the economy versions. Alright, so this is a 6mm Allen, which will go in there. And now I have to use a wrench for this. So this would be 19mm wrench for this part. Alright, we're going to do the same on the other side. Just put them through, put the nut on. And about a quarter turn. Alright. Now let's see if we can get that other strut bolts off. Let us see what happens. Hopefully we can get this thing off. We're going to have to go with the breaker. And we're going up, so let's get this out of the way. That's what we have to work with. I'm going to have to try to get some of that rust off and spray it some more and let it soak. Okay, we got the tops done, but this one, there's no way we're getting this thing out. The other side is rusted and spinning, and there's no way to grip it. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut this one. So, time for the Sawzall. Safety glasses also. There we go. It's out. My goodness. Super pain. So I'll take the loose bolts I had on the top off, and away she goes. And then we got to line up the bolts in the top. So I think I gotta flip it. Alright, that feels like they're closer to where they need to be. Okay, and these are the bolts I picked up from Menards. They do have grade 8 now, so we're gonna go with grade 8. Yellow zinc. And the threading is similar to what it was before, but it's not necessarily a problem for this side since we don't have a welded bolt on this side. The other side of the vehicle does have the welded bolt. So we're going to be kind of stuck with using those threads. So this side I could have done coarse. So for the Pathfinder, this was the bolt I went with for the Pathfinder when I did that. So this is a 10.9 grade, 14 millimeter, about 3 inches long, 80 millimeter, with the bolts. So they didn't have flange bolts there, so I'm going to use a washer on both sides. Same material, the yellow zinc. And we're going to just run it through. And we're going to have to raise this arm. Then we'll put the sway bar back in place, or the control arm. Get our bolt ready. come down a little bit. A little bit more. Alright, we're through. Now I'm going to put a bolt on the end here, and again this is the yellow zinc grade 8. Okay, these are 22 millimeter on the nut, and 21 millimeter on the bolt. And this is going to be 130 pounds of torque. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to do the upper bolts here. See if I can move this up so you can see that. And then we're in the home stretch. Alright, you can see at least one of them there. I think the torque specification for these up here was about 55-60. Okay, good to go. We're going to reassemble the sway bar down here. So let's move lower. Okay. So our sway bar's down here. It's going to come back up. And we're going to connect it in here. We got to do both sides. There's a hole right here. So I'm just going to kind of just set it there for the moment. And we're going to do the other side. Let me see what size bolt this is. Because again, this one is a Torx, a 4 millimeter. I guess this is a hex, not a Torx. Okay, all I did was fish it through on the other side. Just like on this side as well. Got the wrong size. This is a 6 millimeter. Alright, so that is it for the front struts. We are all secure, and now we're Gonna go ahead and put the wheels back on. We've already previously done our brake work on this side. We can put the tire back on. Hope this was helpful. Leave a like if you'd like, or comments.